In this video, I'm going to talk about website forms. The concepts from this video overlap with both the field mapping and embed form videos. We recommend that you watch and understand all three of these videos clearly. If necessary, you may want to watch them more than once so you can really grasp these concepts. Lead generated is a very intuitive and user-friendly system, but this is one of the areas where there is opportunity for confusion. Within lead generated, we have a tool we refer to as website forms. These forms connect the information from the forms on your website to the correct areas within lead generated. For instance, let's say someone fills out a form on your website and you have a field called name. What these forms do is allow us to match that field with the name column inside of lead generated. Additionally, you can build your own form within lead generated. You can pick out the fields and customize it how you want it to appear on your website. When you have it all ready, you can paste a little piece of code into your site, and then when someone fills out this form, it will be available instantly inside of lead generated. For WordPress, we have a plugin, but for other sites like Weebly, this is an ideal way to make the connection between your sites and lead generated. Every company in lead generated has a website form. When you first created your company, you had the option to select an existing form with this option right here. If you ever want to change it, it's no big deal. We can easily create new forms and change which form any company is using. Since the forms are about connecting your websites with your leads, they are in the lead management module. To get there, we will expand leads, then website forms, and finally click on all forms. If this is your first time on the screen, you probably only have one form listed here. You can see in this column, we have the companies that are associated with each form. Let's click Edit to open this up. This will take us to our website form builder. Let's take a look around here before we dive into this more. Across the top, notice we have the name of the form right here. We can select another form to edit with this drop-down box here. The area just below this, on the left, shows the list of fields that are currently added to this selected form. To remove one, we can click on the trash can icon. The right side shows the list of available fields we can add to this form. They are divided up into two categories, predefined and custom. Whenever possible, it is best to use the predefined fields. But if the predefined fields don't work for you, then we have the custom fields. With these, you can create any type of field that you need. To create a new field, just click on the Add New button and select the type of field. Notice that we have all the familiar field types that you have used when building forms on your website in the past. Once you create your new custom field, you'll see it as an option on the right side here. It hasn't been added to your form yet, but you can do that by clicking this plus sign right here. One important thing to notice is the difference in the icons between the predefined fields and the custom fields. Also notice the custom fields have an ID number next to them. The reason this ID number is here is because the custom field names do not have to be unique, while the IDs are always unique. Okay, I'm going to go over to the All Leads and show you something important here. Let's look at all the columns we have listed here. There are even more hiding inside of the columns pop-up menu here. Where do all these come from? Notice again the different icons for predefined and for custom fields. Every time we create a new field on the website forms page, it creates a new column here. This is very important to understand. Just to make it clear, every time I create a new field here, it creates a new column here. These fields are used throughout our lead management system. Once we create a new field or column, we can add it to the view and we can search and filter by them. This makes the system very flexible and powerful. With this, you can customize lead generated to track the things that are most important for your clients or your agency and easily search and filter by these fields. In the field mapping video, we're going to talk about how we map the fields from our websites to the columns within lead generated. It explains the process of how we automatically assign the information we collect in our leads to a column within lead generated that can be searched, filtered, used in reports, or visible in the columns of all the tables throughout the lead management module. We have made the process really quick and simple, so don't feel intimidated by it. We cover it in depth during the field mapping video. For now, just to understand the concept, we can have your leads come into lead generated from your website and map it with a field in our system. Let's suppose I created multiple fields called name. Since each field creates a new column, I'm going to have multiple columns that say name. And some of my sites are going to have one name field and others are mapped to a different name field. This means I'm going to have names crisscrossing on this page. If I wanted to search my leads for a name, then I'd have to search in all the different name fields. Probably not what you want. To avoid this, simply use the same field for name for all your companies. Regardless of what you call it on your website, you can map it to the same field within Lead Generated. So now I'm back in the Form Builder page, and as I mentioned earlier, the fields on the left are the ones that we currently have on this form. Notice the two fields at the bottom that say Progress and Lead Type, and they both have a lock. These fields are required for every lead. They help us track things throughout our system. The Progress field tracks the progress of a lead as it comes into our system and is delivered to your client. This is a required field, so every lead in our system has a progress status associated with it. We talk more about this in the lead flow video. If you've not seen this video, you want to make sure you check it out. The lead type tracks the type of lead it is, such as a phone call or a form submission. If you're going to save the data from your website in its own column in Lead Generated, then we have to have a home for it, right? This means for each field on your website, you should have a corresponding field associated with it within Lead Generated. This does not mean that each of these fields needs to also be on your website. So for instance, you wouldn't want to have a field on your website for lead type because that wouldn't make any sense to the people filling out the form to request service. However, if you're collecting email addresses or phone numbers on your website, then we should have that field on our website form within Lead Generated, so we have a way to map it to the right area within our system. Notice this little person icon next to the trash can. These options give us some further control of how the fields work. You can provide clients access to Lead Generated, and they can use this system as a CRM for their business, or as a tool to collaborate with you. Your clients can only see the leads that are assigned to them. These two fields allow you to control if your clients can see and edit the data in this field for an assigned lead. In some situations, you may want to have a field that is used internally, such as lead source, that you don't necessarily want your clients to see. In another situation, you may want to have a field that you can use to collaborate with your clients. For instance, if you had a commission deal with your client, you could create a field for closed deals, where the client can log in and enter the amounts. And then at the end of the month, you could export your leads from the All Leads table and send them the leads with an invoice. Let's discuss the Include in Lead email option. If we return to this graphic from the lead flow video earlier, we can see that leads come from your site into Lead Generated and then are sent to your clients. One way they're sent to your clients is by a lead email. This Include in Lead email option allows you to control which fields are included in this email that is sent to your clients. Okay, now let's discuss the Include in Embedded Form option. As we mentioned earlier, the Embed Form option is an alternative for how to connect your website to Lead Generated. This method allows you to completely build your form within Lead Generated and then paste a small piece of code on your website. This is probably the best way to connect your website to Lead Generated if you're not using WordPress. This switch allows you to control whether this field is included on the form that shows up on your website. So those are the basics of how website forms work. You can make as many website forms as you like. Maybe you want to use the same website form for all your companies because you always are asking the same info. Or perhaps you have a lot of custom fields, so you want to make a unique website form for each company. If you ever want to change it, it's no big deal. We can easily create new forms or change which form you are using for any company. Let's go to the Company Edit screen so we can see how to make this change. To get there, we'll expand Settings from the left navigation menu, and then Companies, and then All Companies. Next, we'll click on the Edit Company button, and we'll be taken to the Edit Company screen for the selected company. On the Edit Company screen, notice this field right here that says Website Form. This lets us know what form we have associated with this company. So if we want to make any edits to a company's form, we need to do so for the one that is selected here. If we would like to change the form being used by this company, this is a spot where we can make that change. Okay, so just to kind of recap on the key concepts from this video. Every company has a website form associated with it. You can use the same form on all your companies or create a unique one for each company. You map the fields on your website to the fields on the form. Each field creates a new column, so it's best to reuse the same fields on each form whenever possible. I know this video had a lot of information in it, and if you got it, that's great, because this is the most confusing part of our entire system, and it's all downhill from here. The way we set things up gives you a ton of power and flexibility to bend and shape the system how you like it. If it's a little fuzzy, no problem. I recommend you rewatch this video a few times and check out the field mapping video as well. you.